Let's go.
Hello, everybody. Good morning and welcome back to the show. And today we are truly honored to have with us Mrs. Pallavi Banerjee, an inspiring woman who beautifully bridges the world of technology, creativity, and passion. So, from engineering background to a business leader to representing Mrs. Bharat New Jersey 2025, she embodies the spirit of empowerment and purpose. So, you're next on the screen, please. If you could tell us about yourself, so at least the audience can get acquainted with you.
Absolutely. Firstly, thank you so much, Aarti, for having me in this podcast. It's truly an honor. I'm just amazed with what you do, getting women from different forms and backgrounds and just speaking about life and, what empowered them. And I hope today, my story here would inspire other women. As you said, I come from a technology background. I was a computer engineer. I did my MBA from NYU Stern, and I was just climbing up the ladder in my senior tech role in a Fortune 500 company. And of course, raising a family with my husband and two kids, two toddlers, I must say. I came to a place in my life where I thought that I should just go ahead and do more to my life than just, taking care of all that I have. So I stepped into pageantry very recently. In the beginning of this year, I won the Mrs. Bharat New Jersey pageant, and then I went for Mrs. Universe, where I won the Mrs. Northeast Universe. So, those are two titles added to my wings, and I'm just enjoying this journey, enjoying the empowerment that comes with being in this platform and advocating and just, inspiring through my story many other women to just come up and own it themselves and do what they find passion and pride in.
That's really amazing, actually, and I want to know actually more in detail about what inspired you to ultimately step onto this stage and represent Mrs. Bharat, New Jersey. What you recently told us. So, if you could just brief us about that.
Yes, I just mentioned that, I was at a place in my life where I was focusing in my career, taking care of family, and I just felt, I'm just going through life, then really growing in life. And I think that was a moment where I thought I need to do something that just adds value and purpose to me and, grows me as a person so that I can give back to my family and my kids a better version of myself. And pageantry, as I said, is the journey I took. And I pushed myself into it to be more confident, to embrace my identity, and also show my kids that, growth never stops, no matter what stage of life you're in. And I truly believe, women in general are capable of wearing so many different hats. So it also came up from a place that, I can do more than what I'm doing. And, instead of leading professionally and having family, I can still embrace my own individuality, step, into pageantry, because it was not about the competition for me, but just showing my competence and just celebrating the confidence, the culture, the courage, that comes, and just stepping out of that comfort zone and owning myself. And, I just wanted to represent women and just redefine what strength and beauty means. And I'm just so proud and so happy I took that for myself and stepped into pageantry, because I truly feel that it celebrates, a woman in its truest form, the intelligence, kindness, and authenticity that we bring in. And wearing a crown is just not about, beauty or, confidence. It is about just womanhood as a fullest form, brain, heart, and heritage. And that's what I would like to share, that, I took this step for myself into pageantry to just explore a new side of myself that I never thought I had in me.
Right, and you're very nicely balancing all this and properly blending both in your life. So ultimately, talking about your motherhood perspective, talking about this tech career side of yours, and then also talking about the work that you have been doing so far. So, what is your basic secret of balancing and having harmony in your work, managing different roles in your life?
That's a very interesting question, Aarti. And I think, I come across the balancing act, and I'm sure women across has the same challenge. But I'll just be honest with you. When you talk about balance, I think I have reached a harmony with the realization is that balancing is really not about perfection. We as women, we try to be the best in everything we do and just reach that perfection that we can't miss something or we can't lose on anything. And I just feel that when I realized that I don't have to be perfect, but just be present and prioritize what is important for me at this moment, which means, when I'm maybe at my workplace and something more critical has come, I'm not maybe with my kids and I'm making a compromise there. Or if my kids need me, my family needs me, I'm there and maybe I have to compromise on a work trip or on a workshop. And I'm okay to take that stance. And that, I think, is what I would say reaching the harmony means on not perfectioning, but prioritizing, taking off the pressure, but being present. And that is the right blend of harmony, I would say, that to all the women, uh, give yourself that grace. You don't have to prove everything at once. Prioritize what aligns with your values and know that that's just enough. What you're doing is enough, because balancing really isn't about perfection. It is about finding that peace with where you are and just taking pride in what you're building.
Yeah, it's very important to balance actually, and also to realize your self worth, maybe to reflect on yourself, and then understand where you actually want to head towards. You decide your destiny, and then ultimately go ahead in the same direction. So that's how it is. All right. So, what I mean, I actually want to go more in detail about your engineering background because this is very fascinating to know somebody from engineering going to this pageant world, and then so ultimately, how do you actually balance business and engineering, and how do you think this has been shaping your leadership qualities, and then talking about empowerment in your own zone, in your own area?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you're right. Learning never goes into waste. And I feel like the learnings that I've had from my engineering and business background is something that has shaped me into what I've become today. And, talking about engineering, it has taught me how to think critically, solve problems, and, cope up with different challenges with logic and creativity. On the other hand, I feel the business acumen side of me has taught me strategy, how to connect people, purpose, and performances. But what's been most meaningful is how these experiences have taught me to lead, I think, both with a head and a heart. And I think uh, that's what I bring in my journey of pageantry or just the life I live, right? It just blending it and just understanding that empowering people and taking leadership and listening, all of these create an environment where I can inspire, mentor, and create an environment that's where I can grow and also, have others realize their potential and learn what is best for them and, keep growing and keep learning.
Well, I like the statement where we're talking about empowering others also and trying to push them apart from just thinking about our own selves. So that because that's how we go together. So that's very important nowadays, and people don't realize this. They don't realize the importance of this statement. So if you work on yourself, you're supposed to even support other people around you, and that's how it goes together and hand in hand. So yeah, okay. So talking about your platforms focusing on women empowerment and the child education, what specific initiative have you taken so far, or the experiences that you have, I mean, that has driven your passion? If you could share those a few of the incidents with us.
Oh, yeah, yes, absolutely. And again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak because I truly feel, this platform is something where I can share and inspire, as you said. So, my passion for the field I work in, which is mainly, women empowerment and child education, both of them, I think it comes from a place of personal experiences and observation and learning. I grew up in India and I have really seen how education has changed the trajectory of my life, how it has shaped me to become more confident, financially independent, and take choices in my life. And you know for that reason, that was a cause that was very close to my heart. So even before I joined pageantry and I was working just as a professional, I was working with organizations, funding, donating child education, and also working closely where I could make sure the resources are reaching the kids, the underprivileged kids mostly, who need that education, especially I feel women. As they say, when you teach a woman today, she becomes the light for tomorrow. She brings the light for the next generation, because that's how it moves over generation. And I really believe in that cause, and I have been working. The women empowerment, though, that journey of mine started with the pageantry world. As I stepped into pageantry and I came across women from different phases of life, facing the same challenges, I thought I should use my voice and the power this platform is giving to come up and advocate for causes like, fight against domestic violence or fight against women's rights, giving them the resources to live their life, take the choice of their life, where they are not maybe privileged to have a family, not the resources. So I work with the foundation that works with women rehabilitation, and it helps women, who are in these phases of life, giving them mentoring program, giving them funding, giving them a place to live, just helping them come out of maybe a domestic violence situation or a life where they need to make a living for their own. And I truly believe that pageant, your life, everything set aside, what really makes a difference is how through your life you can bring a change to someone else's life, make a positive change. And that's what I'm striving to do, and that's my goal of just going ahead with all of these passions and all of these journeys that I mentioned, and just embarking on them and growing on the social cause that I'm working on.
No, it's totally commendable actually talking about domestic violence and trying to uplift those who are already suffering. But if you don't mind, let's just go a little in detail about domestic violence and how do you actually support these people, because this I think is a very important topic of concern, and I guess many people, many females have been suffering, but they don't raise their voices against domestic violence, or sometimes even they do, they're generally suppressed. So how do you handle these kind of such situations from your end in that
Yeah, absolutely.
NGO? Right?
There are many parts to domestic violence. As you said, this is a topic we don't talk about. So I think the first and foremost thing is just to have awareness about it. The most difficult part about domestic violence is the victims coming out and speaking, or even the family members acknowledge that there is a problem, because we all want to think, it's a problem that is happening to someone else, but not with me or not with someone I know. So it always starts with just creating that awareness among people that, it is real. Domestic violence is something that can happen to your loved ones or to yourself. So what are the things to look out for? And the next part of it is supporting. We always want to say that it's not a problem, just go back and reconcile. But we need to understand, if we have someone who's coming up and speaking for themselves, we as a society need to support them. We need to give them the resources. And there are so many resources out there. There is the hotline, there is a chat where you can go into, there are many administrative and state level funding program where you can just come speak up, and if you report it, they is so much support, starting from a survival kit to even a housing that would be provided to you. So that's the other part of it, that we as a society need to make sure that if we know of someone going through it, we are pointing them to the right direction and giving them the resources they want. And I think the third part is obviously just growing the awareness, through many programs that we do. Very recently, we did a march, domestic violence march in New Jersey, where, we just walked through the street, just creating that awareness that, it is something that we feel is not there, but it could be. And, we just need to understand, react, and respond and be there to support the victims.
Yeah, very interesting actually, because the way we have been raised so far, depending, I mean, like the way we have been raised based on the belief system that we have and the mindset that people have nowadays, that, okay, if it is something going wrong in the family is because majorly because of the female, or in case it is happening because of the other party also, you're supposed to suppress yourself and just try to reconcile, right? So I do you actually think there's a possibility of reconciling, especially when it comes to domestic violence?
Oh no, I think violence is a strict no. And when we talk about violence, I think there are many different forms of violence. We always think about physical violence, but there is always psychological, mental harassment, of course, the sexual harassment as well. So we need to understand, where to draw the line. What are these red flags? As I was saying, that we as a society, especially I think the culture we come from, it is, the idea of reconciling, and we consider divorce more as a tragedy, where the reality is that the real tragedy is living in a marriage that is not only suppressing and taking the humanity out of you, but sometimes there are children who are suffering because of that. And I think we as a society need to understand that, divorce or coming out of marriage is a new chapter. It's an opportunity for a woman to rise by herself. She doesn't have to be dependent on someone to find her own identity. And that I feel is the biggest battle when I'm advocating for this cause, is just to create that awareness among women that, you can rise on your own, and you just need to believe, go ahead, make that change in your life for yourself, and more importantly, for your children, because, no child should grow up in a broken family seeing this. And there is, studies that show correlation between adult violence and growing up in a family where they have seen domestic violence. So, yeah, all the more important for women to just believe in themselves, know when is the time to come out of it, and just don't compromise on, any kind of violence.
Yeah, and also realizing that divorce is not the end of the day or end of your life. End of your life. It's actually a new chapter in your life. I really like that statement because females, especially in our society, need to understand that okay, it's not a curse. It's not a it's not a problem in the family that you are. It's happening because of you. It's actually because of somebody else who's trying to spoil your mental peace, or anything can be a reason behind domestic violence, or maybe I mean, it's not even your fault personally. So there's no point of blaming a female for that perspective, and then try to understand that they need support from the family and the society as well, because generally we treat the same as curse. So yeah, so that perspective has to be
Yeah.
changed. So it's beautiful that you have been handling that with such a care, and I really appreciate that. Okay, so, talking about your own career, your own passion, you actually, I mean, talking about your interest rather than being a professional, but talking about your you as a traveler, then as a painter, as a musician, as a dancer. So, how do you think creativity and self-expression is very important, apart from what you have been doing in your career? Because I guess for personal growth, you need to have a balance and have a blend of all this, right? Your talent,
Yeah,
trying to enjoy your life, and then also look at your professional career. So, how do you balance that?
that is so true. No, no, I truly believe, to me, practicing art or of any form, may that be music, dance, painting, or just traveling, I just feel, no matter how good or bad you are in it, but it is a way you just grow your soul. It has been my way of reconnecting back to myself, and just, reminds me that just growth is not about achievement. It is about the joy, the curiosity, the expression you get. And maybe sometimes it teaches you the imperfections when you are connecting to some art form. And, I love to travel, I love to paint, singing and dancing, of course, things that I'm passionate about. It definitely makes me feel centered. It's like meditation. All these outlets give me patience, resilience, and just the beauty to own myself, express myself, and also, fuels confidence in some way. Just getting up on a stage and singing a song or dancing, it's just a very open way of expressing yourself, bringing in open-mindedness, yes, being grounded. And it just helps me lead through a lot of authenticity and compassion. So, yeah, I think it's more of a journey with my inner self, and no, just a way of growing as a person and having different dimensions of your life. Because, I always feel like being a woman, you're just living so many duties in your life as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter. It sometimes becomes almost, just living for others' expectations and doing tasks that help others. But things of creativity, I feel, everybody should have a hobby, a passion where, you can just grow inside, just touch your soul, be creative, express yourself, and just, yeah, be confident and proud of whatever you can, no matter how good or bad.
And maybe you can realize your self-worth, try to link yourself, I mean, be the focal point of your life. So at least apart from doing a lot of things for others, you just start thinking about your own self and have some space and time for your own hobbies. Yeah, of course, as a female, especially when they have so much on the plate, especially when it comes to family and then work at the same time. So yeah. All right, so I can totally understand how beautifully I've been answering all the curiosity that I had in mind. Right, so the last question that I actually want you to talk about basically is about sharing your perspective. Also talking about what message would you actually like to give to the audience, especially the females, women's striving to pursue both the professional dreams as well as the personal passions with purpose in today's scenario, especially. So yeah.
Yeah, no, of course. If I have to give a message, I think it would definitely be to every woman that just believe in yourself and don't stop from dreaming or growing. Because, as I was saying, we as women are always living with that guilt that if we do something for ourselves, we are maybe taking away from something we are meant to do. And I don't think that feeling should come. Like, women are capable of doing more than just what they are expected to do, having a meaningful career, raising a family, we can do it all. And I would just tell every woman listening today that believe in yourself, don't carry that guilt, because when you do something for yourself, you are pursuing what makes you grow, feel fulfilled. And that energy, comes back and reflects on others. As they say, you cannot pour from an empty cup. So it is important
100%.
to
Yeah.
keep fulfilling yourself, keep yourself grow, nourish yourself, be healthy, be strong, keep on growing, keep on challenging yourself and become a better version of yourself. Love yourself. That's very important because it's only when you love yourself and respect yourself, others will. So
Yeah.
don't shy away, don't feel guilty. Love what you are, where you are, and keep dreaming, keep believing and growing. Be happy, and you will bring happiness to others and inspire everybody in your life.
Yeah, so it's a very nice and amazing statement, actually, very beautifully explained. So I guess it's about everybody, every individual trying to express themselves properly and then also trying to prioritize themselves. So looking at their own dreams before they would start thinking about anybody else in the family. So it applies for both the gender, most probably. All right. I understand you have a busy schedule, and then again, it's very early in the morning for you. But I really enjoyed the podcast. I thank you so much for sharing your journey, powerful journey with us today. And your words truly remind us that the true success basically relies in living with balance, passion, and purpose. So thank you once again for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the podcast too. Though it was a lot of things to be learned from you, and I'm sure the audience would also take something home from today's conversation. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Aarti. As I said, it's such a heartwarming conversation I had. And thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you for what you're doing. It's a wonderful platform you're giving to women to just come up and speak. And sometimes just listening to others and getting inspired from their journey can make a difference in everybody's life. So thank you for having me. It was such an honor and such a pleasure talking with you today. Have a wonderful day today. And, thank you to all the audience as well for listening and giving me the opportunity to share my story.
Well, it is
Thank
it
you.
is our pleasure, of course, to have you on the show with us, and thank you for your kind words. I mean, I look forward to have more podcasts with you in the future, in case you have time, because I mean, I understand how much busy you are, but anyway, still, because we can always share experiences and try to motivate others in the society around us. Yeah, so thank you so much. Nice
Absolutely.
to meet
I would love to, all the work we do, as I said, it is about sharing and inspiring. And if we can make a little bit of difference in anybody's life or for the next generation to come, it is a life well lived and a legacy behind.
you. Right,
So
very,
thank you so
very true.
much.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
All right, so this was with us on the show today, Mrs. Pallavi. And her story, from technology to pageantry, from innovation to inspiration, encourages women everywhere to embrace their full potential and pursue every dream fearlessly and religiously. So we deeply appreciate your time and your wisdom and the light you have brought on the show to empower women and shaping the future for children also. Wishing you continued success in every sphere of your life, and may your journey keep inspiring others to dream bigger and rise higher. Thank you once again for being with us on the show today. I really enjoyed the conversation, and I hope even the audience would like the conversation too, and they would take away home something at least from the conversation and try to live their lives, prioritizing their own self, their desires, and their dreams. So, with this thought in mind, this is your host signing off. I wish you all the best for your journey, for your life, for whatever you have been doing so far in life. Just be very passionate about it, just be very confident, sure about it, and live your life to the fullest. This is your host signing off. I'll actually be back again with a fresh guest on the channel next week. So, till then, take care of yourself, keep shining, keep growing. This is your host signing off. Take care.